had Christina in English class. She came into my class late in the year. She had been at Disney performing as a Mouseketeer.
People started to get to know her. They'd ask her questions about her life, and she would tell them honestly, you know, I was a Mouseketeer, and some people would take that as, oh, she's bragging. She had a lot of self-confidence, which sometimes can be mistaken for arrogance.
Well, I think the kids were just basically rude and pretty much hostile to her.
You think you get your daughter out of a really bad situation, you can relax, have a normal life. Well, that fairy tale image was kind of burst real fast.
I remember one time in gym class, these girls were trying to kick balls at her to deliberately hurt her because they were just jealous of her.
They didn't understand her, and they didn't take the time to understand what she was really about.
She missed a number of days of school, performing or auditioning.
She never liked school. She didn't come often, and when she did, she was like, I don't know why I need to be here. This isn't what I want to do. Like, I want to be a singer.
Christina said, I'm going to try to make an album before I'm out of high school.
They made the decision to pull her out and have her homeschooled so she could get her career started, because you can't really do both.
There was a management team up in New York.
So we all traveled to New York City to meet this manager and heard what he had to say and what our expectations were, and we decided to go ahead with that gentleman, and he became Christina's manager. Her very first thing was to fly to Japan. Her new manager knew someone connected with a Japanese pop star, Keizo Nakanishi.
They got together and did this duet, All I Want to Do.
She got to go to Romania.
Don't you understand?
To perform in the Golden Stag Festival. For somebody brand new in the business, it was great.
Oh yeah.
We got a call from her management, and they asked if I would be interested in producing and writing songs for her demo.
We started talking to Christina about which songs she liked of ours.
While we were on the phone, Heather actually was playing a song in the background. Christina was like, "What's that song?" It was a ballad that Heather had just finished called Obvious.
Rob held the phone up to the piano, and she said, "This is my song. Don't give this to anybody else. This is the song that I can sing and perform, and everyone's going to hear my voice." She came out to LA essentially by herself to start recording this demo.
The first time she opened her mouth, it was just like, oh my God, I could not believe, what was coming out of her. It didn't make sense.
This voice was like booming through the room. I mean, Rob and I just looked at each other like, wow.
We immediately tried to make sure that the songs showcased her vocal ability.
Even when it was a great take, she would say, "That's not good enough, I'm going to do it again." And we would think, there's no way she could make that better. And then she would. While we were working on Christina's demo, she got a phone call from one of her friends back home letting her know that Britney Spears had just gotten a deal with Jive Records and was going to be putting her album out.
Christina was disappointed that other people that she had performed with at Disney were seemingly more successful in their career.
Christina was a little frustrated that it hadn't happened yet.
As soon as we started shopping the demo, nobody really jumped up and down it because there was no blueprint for this 16-year-old singer.
That demo got to Bob Jameson, president of RCA.
When I heard the tape, it completely floored me. And it was immediate to me that it needed to be given to somebody who knew how to deal with it. And I sent it to Ron.
I listened to the demo tape, and there was nothing particularly remarkable about any of it until the song called Obvious. The song made me freak out.
Ron immediately called and said, "Get her out here, I want to meet her."
I asked her to sing a cappella with a demonic sense of self-possession and an absolutely razor-like fearlessness. She slammed that song into me.
Ron called me right after and said, "This girl is very talented, and I think we should try and sign Christina Aguilera to RCA."
Around that time, I get a call from a friend of mine, Chris Montan. He's doing the songs for an animated film called Mulan.
Matthew Wilder and I were looking for a singer to perform the big ballad, Reflection.
They were not having any luck with finding a voice to work with the song.
The song required a high E over middle C. That note is a difficult note to sing. There's no two ways around it.
I called Christina and I asked her, can you hit the high E an octave above middle C in full voice? And she said, Mom, can I hit the high E an octave above middle C?
She had to find a song that actually contained that high note, and she ended up choosing I Want to Run to You by Whitney Houston.
And Christina had an old tape recorder, and she went into the bathroom and belted that note out.
The demo tape, as rough as it was a ray of hope.
Next thing you knew, he said, well, look, we're willing to fly her in to see if we like her on the song.
Christina started to sing. I don't think she got more than 5 or 6 notes before Matthew and I turned to each other and said, she's perfect.
The very same week that she got the part for Mulan, she was signed to RCA Records. So that was like a phenomenal week in her life.
All of a sudden, Christina was now in the best studio in Los Angeles with a giant orchestra and the best musicians singing the end title to Mulan.
I think for Christina it was a little intimidating.
This was a pretty difficult song.
There was problems hitting the note on the record.
Matthew and Christina worked for probably 3 or 4 nights. She had to fight through it because it was so hard to sing.
We introduced her to a vocal coach, somebody that was able to school her how to reach high E over C.
And when we finally got that high note, everybody was just so happy and relieved.
When the single of Reflection was released, Christina made a lot of press appearances to promote the movie and the song. Christina was very aware of the pressure of what was riding on her, how important the song was to her career.
It was kind of like RCA's way of saying, let's see what you can do.
This was Christina's first big moment. She really had to deliver on this.
Reflection didn't establish her as a star.
It was kind of a minor hit.
It didn't really become the single that we had hoped that it would become.
Christina was born with a gift, but that isn't enough to guarantee success.
Coming up, The Genie gets released.
Everything started happening very, very fast.
RCA had invested so much money. Jobs were on the line, and it's like, God, please let this fly.
But some things never change.
I remember Christina saying to me, I want to go to the prom.
The DJ actually had a copy of her song.
The DJ played it. All the people that were on the dance floor just walked off.